without notice.
The plane shook and then it went into a sudden drop.
It can violently shake an airplane.
My life flashed before my eyes. I was scared.
Putting crew members and passengers at risk.
And there was lights. People were holding on to lights because it fell into their laps.
My mom wasn't buckled, and so I turned to my right and I saw that she hit the ceiling and she hit the floor.
But turbulence can cause more than just a bumpy ride. In some cases, people get seriously hurt.
I saw a handful of people with lacerations on their head and blood dripping down.
A 2021 National Transportation Safety Board report found between 2009 and 2018, turbulence accounted for a third of all accidents on larger commercial airlines, and a majority of passengers seriously injured were not wearing seatbelts.
Just imagine getting on your local carnival roller coaster ride, taking the seatbelt off, and saying, yeah, I'll hold myself in. You won't.
Captain Dennis Tazier is a spokesperson for the Allied Pilots Association and has been a pilot with American Airlines for over 30 years.
It was not a rare event to come into turbulence. It was all discomforting. Ride's getting a little choppy, you spill your coffee, let's get the seatbelt sign on.
But in recent years, he says he's noticed an increase in frequency and intensity of turbulence.
Now what we're seeing is the first sign of turbulence, you jump immediately to, okay, this could get really worse. That sounds like perhaps a panicked attitude, but it's not. It's one based in reality.
Tazier is right. A recent study shows there has been an uptick in severe turbulence, but to understand the increase, it's important to know how the disturbances in the air work. Turbulence can strike when a plane flies through sections of air that are changing in direction and speed.
You're going way up north and coming back down here because there was huge storms right here.
Pilots know thunderstorms and mountain ranges can create turbulence, so they can usually avoid it. But there is an invisible form known as clear air turbulence, and it's difficult to predict.
The tricky thing about that is that satellites can't see it, but what satellites can see, and they have been monitoring since the 1970s, is the jet stream, the shape and structure of the jet stream.
Airplanes can fly within the jet stream to boost speeds and reduce travel times, but Professor Paul Williams at the University of Reading in England says that's where a majority of clear air turbulence occurs. He co-authored a study that found between 1979 and 2020 there was a significant increase in severe turbulence over parts of the US and the North Atlantic, one of the world's busiest flight routes.
I'm saying there's 55% more turbulence in the atmosphere. Doesn't necessarily mean there's 55% more turbulence on flights, because pilots are really experts at avoiding turbulence, and they've been getting better at doing that over the past 4 decades.
Williams says the increase in severe turbulence is consistent with effects of climate change. He explains CO2 emissions have impacted temperatures across the jet stream.
It is that north-south temperature difference that drives the jet stream in the first place. A stronger temperature difference means a more strongly sheared jet stream.
And says encounters with this type of turbulence could become more common.
I think the main expectation is that for every 10 minutes you've spent in turbulence in the past, that could be 20, 30 minutes. Towards the end of this century.
The Federal Aviation Administration is working to modernize its pilot reporting system, which tracks turbulence, while Delta and American Airlines are using crowdsourcing apps among pilots.
They had us on a most crazy route.
That's what Captain Tazier uses, and he showed us how it works.
It's Google Maps for the potholes in the sky.
Tazier says the tech allows pilots to record when and where they hit turbulence and its intensity.
This orange is moderate turbulence, and this red, severe turbulence.
Giving other pilots in the air a heads up about the turbulence their radars can't detect. It also automatically records turbulent air when the iPad shakes.
It's extraordinarily accurate. And knowing that I'm not just looking at a report someone typed in, it's their iPad and it's shaking.
Other pilots can see those reports of turbulence and decide if they need to make any route adjustments to avoid it.
I don't get on a flight where I don't see the first officer bring it up, or one of us is crowdsourcing, even on a clear, wide open day.
And in cases where turbulence cannot be avoided and it leads to injuries,
there were like several other people that hit their head. When we landed, paramedics came and they were like wheeling people out.
First responders say you should stay seated so crews can quickly treat those in need.
Captain Tager stressed repeatedly, you can take a simple step to protect yourself in turbulence. Wear your seatbelt even when the sign is turned off. Also, in an effort to protect passengers, in 2021, the National Transportation Safety Board recommended stricter safety rules about fastening safety belts when flying near thunderstorms or under 20,000 feet, where most injuries occur.
For those who are uneasy while up in the sky, both Captain Tager and Professor Williams had some words of encouragement to help settle any nerves.
Yeah, Williams said severe turbulence is still relatively rare at cruising altitude, where you'll spend most of your time.
And Captain Tager says an aircraft goes through intense testing before it ever takes off with any passengers.
A lot of people see the wings bending, you know, even when it's just choppy, and wonder, is that right? Absolutely. Thank goodness that's happening. That's engineering happening. And the stress test on the airplane is beyond your wildest dreams of what it can endure, stay together, and get you back on the ground safely.